Hi, everybody.
Oh, fuck. I forgot to turn off the loop.
It's been too long, man.
Oh, it's only been 2 weeks.
All right, folks. Welcome back to the Big Dudes in the Trenches. I am
Hey,
Doug.
John's here too. He's just eating ice cream.
He'll join us later. Bug is back in town. Missed you last week, man. Good to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's nice to not be at work or softball. They still wanted to fucking play softball today. It's 102 degrees outside. Fuck that.
Nice.
Not doing that shit.
Nice.
So we forfeited.
Imagine being a football player from the Northeast and committing to Auburn. Couldn't be me. But
Except in college football 25.
But there's a corner who just decommitted from Ohio State and went to Auburn in real life. Not naming any names.
But you could totally name him. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's not the point of why we're here. We are previewing some more conferences for 2024. Like how we did last episode, we have 4 more conferences we want to blaze through here and rank them tier list style.
That was good. That was real good.
Wow. The big man sigh.
What am I looking at?
A very satisfied gentleman.
POV, you are Tug's ice cream cup. That is terrifying.
Boys, you want a reason to make fun of me?
We have plenty. You want to add
do
a pile
you
on
want?
it?
Yeah.
This right here is ever since the wedding.
Wow.
That
has been
all I
an
could
entire
muster.
month of growth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Hey, it takes me a while to grow too. We got to be honest.
Yeah, but at least yours fills in.
That is true. That is true. It is a lot thicker since a month ago, and yours is not that much thicker since a month ago. That is nice. All right, so we have 4 conferences, like I said, we want to run through here. This episode, we will be doing the Mountain West, the Sun Belt, and the Southland, and the Big South-OVC, because...
So really kind of 5 conferences.
No. The Big South-OVC is 1 conference.
Yeah, but it's 2 that made one.
And they're still going by a name that's incredibly confusing to everybody who doesn't know. Because why not? Why make things easier?
Yeah, why not make a new conference name?
So, all right, I guess in a way you are kind of right. The Big South exists as an entity, and the OVC exists as an entity, but they don't have enough teams who play football to have individual football conferences. So they joined forces, and it's the Big South OVC Football Conference officially is a separate entity to either the Big South or the OVC. It's still 4 conferences today.
It annoys me that they have pulled the most military thing ever and put an acronym within an acronym for this.
Actually, do you even better, one you didn't think of, we are kind of doing 5 conferences because we got the Tupac mixed in here as well.
Ah, the Tupac.
All right, folks.
Yeah. We're going to join the Mountain West, but not really conference.
Right. Or we're going to get the Mountain West to join us later. Conference.
Yeah, in T-2 years. Put it on the clocks.
Well, it won't be everybody. And you're going to be real pissed off who gets left behind. It's going to be hilarious.
No, because I think at that point, Air Force would go to the American, especially with Army in there now.
I have no idea why they haven't already, honestly.
Well, because still Colorado State and Boise State are closer.
Yeah,
until
and
such
travel.
time as that's the Pac-12. Yeah. Anyway, are we ready to begin?
Let's do it.
Tier lists.
I'm just waiting on you. I don't know what you're doing.
Okay, well, I thought you were going to do it. I was waiting on you. Very professional around here, as you can tell. All right, so If you tuned in last time, you'll be familiar with these tiers by now. National championship contender. I doubt we will have any from the Mountain West, though it's very possible that one could sneak in there if someone wants to be dumb. Playoff team. I think we do have a contender for that tier in this conference. Conference champion contender, of course, the Cougars and the Beavers do not qualify for that tier, even though I guess you could theoretically say both of them are contenders for the Pac-12 championship.
Will the Pac-12 even crown a champion this year?
No,
Nope.
I am not going to put either of them in that tier. And of course, we have good, mid, bad, and absolute doo-doo. And we also have the Robert Morris tier below that.
I made him make that last week for Brown University. It was great.
All right, folks. Let's start out however you want to start out. Pick a team, somebody, and let's talk about them.
All right, let's get the one that I think we can all pretty much agree on. You mentioned that there might be a playoff team in here. I think there is somebody who will contend for it. That's going to be Boise State. I don't anticipate any issues from you guys putting them as the playoff team out of the Mountain West. It's the only one that I could see even getting close.
Yeah, they're the only one that has a real chance at making it. And even if I think the Mountain West, when you look at it as far as the group of five conferences go, if Boise State has a stumble, it's going to hit them a lot harder than if Memphis or a team from the AAC has a stumble on their way to a conference championship.
Memphis or a team from the AAC? You mean Liberty or a team from the AAC, maybe?
Maybe.
That would make more sense to me. That's all right. Yeah, they returned one of the best running backs in the entire country in Ashton Jeanty, and then also bring in a legitimate quarterback prospect from USC, which is awfully interesting. Able to pull a 5-star quarterback over to Boise State when returning all this defense that ended up being very good at the end of the season. Should be a very fun team and pretty scary team for the Mountain West. They do not play Fresno State in the regular season, which is a big part of why you will see Fresno State as one of the other main contenders for the conference championship game, according to a lot of folks this season. I'm still a little bit concerned about Fresno State just because the last couple of seasons have been so rough for them. Jeff Tedford is now in his 3rd season, and they have a couple of new transfers on offense.
But somebody out of the West needs to go to the conference championship game, unfortunately.
There is not a division in the Mountain West anymore.
Oh, that's true.
No divisions. Right. The only conference with divisions anymore is the Sun Belt, which we will get to.
I'm going to take the other one that I think is pretty easy. I don't anticipate many issues from you guys just because of all the shenanigans going on there right now. Utah State's going to be in our shit tier.
I think this tier probably fills up with a couple of teams, if I'm being honest.
Well, you got to keep in mind too. We're comparing this across the country, not just in. And I think you're still right. This is across college football, not just in the Mountain West too. So keep that in mind. But I think Utah State's going to have a rough year. They've had some shenanigans going on with the coaching, haven't they? Am I making that up?
Yeah, Blake Anderson's gone now, and most of their team was gone already anyway. Just transfers. So, yeah, there's no way to have any real expectations for this Utah State team. I'm concerned that Hawaii might deserve to be in that tier as well.
I'm hoping – I was just thinking about that. I'm hoping they take a step forward and get into my bad tier this year. But they're definitely on the bubble.
The biggest thing with Hawaii is they are just undefeated in having the worst travel schedule, and that's something that just comes with the territory of playing at Hawaii. In the past, they've been able to develop an offense and have a team that has the ability to overcome some of that. And I don't know what the issue has been the past couple of years, but it has not been the same Warrior offense we've seen, in years past.
They also don't really have a stadium, do they?
They're working on it.
Aloha Stadium is getting torn down. It's basically condemned because of all the rust from the sea salt and everything. But I believe their new stadium's built. I'm not 100% sure on what the status of it is, but very similar to the situation they had going on in Birmingham for UAB.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen any updates about it. Actually,
it's been going on for too long for it to not be finished, I feel like, but it's also Hawaii.
Yeah, I still see.
Yeah, they got a new one.
Very sure.
Yep.
Well, while you're looking that up, do we upgrade Nevada to bad, or are they still chilling in the shit tier?
So I've got it pulled up. The Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex, built in 2015, includes locker rooms and a meeting room for Hawaii beach volleyball, cross country, women's soccer, track and field teams. The university's football team also utilizes the facility for practices, and it became the team's temporary stadium starting in 2021. The stadium has a seating capacity of 15, up from 9. And will
temporary stadium.
They play at their practice field. I love it.
Yes, they do. There is the proposed new Aloha Stadium has not. I don't even know if they've broken ground.
So it's a permanent kind of temporary.
Yeah. The new Aloha Stadium opening was pushed to 2027.
Oof.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
All right. Back to...
Nevada.
Yeah.
I would wager to say Nevada is going to be worse than Utah State. Like, I would even be okay moving Hawaii up to make that tier break a little bit more clean.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm also thinking San Diego State's going to take a step up into the bad tier again.
Well,
at the front end of the bad tier.
That's an interesting discussion, because I guess that depends on how much you believe in Sean Lewis, right? His first year with the program, he was able to do some cool things at Kent State for a time. Came in to be offensive coordinator for Colorado, and then got fired essentially because Colorado's offense didn't take off like Kent State's was. So can he rekindle something with the Aztecs here?
Yeah, but it's his first season, right?
Right.
Yeah, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, moving them up into the bad tier, because what they showed on the field last year would definitely be in our shit tier. So I'm definitely going to upgrade them to the bad. I just don't necessarily believe in a first-year coach right away. It's going to take time to get his offense and his schemes in there, but I do think they're going to take a step forward.
I feel like you're misunderstanding me. I'm saying you're giving them a lot of benefit of the doubt by moving them up to bad. You are believing in Sean Lewis by moving them up.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of confidence in Sean Lewis.
Yeah. And here's my thing: is Sean Lewis a run first, pro style kind of run first type coach?
I don't know. Not really.
Because San Diego State tends to bring out running backs out of nowhere.
Yeah, they used to when they had.
When was the last time they did that though?
Rashad Penny.
Yeah, who retired.
Just retired
today.
And never had a good NFL career.
Well, I never said he had a good NFL career.
Yeah, but,
who was the one before him? Because they kind of went back to back. Retired after like 5 seasons.
I know, but it's kind of crazy. Yeah, I mean, I can buy San Diego State being bad.
I guess if we're going to put Hawaii in the bad, then San Diego State's going to be bad.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
I would say the last good running back San Diego State had was Marshall Faulk, despite the fact that they had somebody win the Jim Brown Award in 2016. Like it's Marshall Faulk. Like that's who you're thinking of.
Who won it in 2016?
That's
Donnell Pumphrey.
Yeah.
No, that's not the guy I was thinking of. Maybe it is.
Clearly.
I think it was, because that was the year Air Force played them in the conference championship game.
You're talking about the last great running back versus Tug was asking about last good running back.
Yeah.
Marshall Falk is a different level.
That's fair.
Donnell Pumphrey was fantastic collegiate running back.
Let's stop talking some bad here. Let's start.
Well, I want to keep on bad for just a second because
all right.
the Sean Lewis discussion brings up another very interesting discussion. San Jose State also has a first-year head coach, a coach that you guys are both very familiar with, and Ken Niumatalolo.
I have no idea how that's going to work out.
Damn,
I really have no idea how that's going to work out.
It's okay. Just look at Georgia Tech. I can tell you this is going to go. They're not going to be good right away because it takes time to transition your offense.
I don't think he's going to do a triple option again.
I don't know why he would.
I don't know that I believe he can do anything else.
Well, he was on UCLA's staff for a couple of years under Chip Kelly, most recently,
which is also an option-based offense.
And a somewhat option-based offense, but
I mean, I say that like I'm
more traditional than Navy ever was.
I say that like I'm talking shit about the option, knowing that my NFL team runs an RPO offense.
Yeah,
my college team plays a triple option.
It's terrible.
I think it's going to take time for Ken. I know what he brings to the table. I think Navy. I understand why Navy moved on. It's a lot of the same reasons why I'm ready to move on from my end, and you guys call me crazy. But I think Ken is actually a decent coach. With some of the talent that I've seen Navy bring up. But I think it's going to take some time to get there. I'm okay in the bad tier with it, but
yeah.
I mean, we're what, 4 years removed from them winning the conference? And that was a COVID-aided year, if I remember right.
Something like that.
Yeah, Brent Brennan got the promotion. He went to Arizona after Jed Fish went to Washington to replace Kalen DeBoer, who went to Alabama. So Ken Niumatalolo has a head coaching job again, thanks to Nick Saban's retirement.
Man, it is far-reaching the the effects of Nick Saban retiring. And yes, it was the COVID-aided season where they won the conference championship, going 7-1, 7-0 in conference play.
Which, shout out to Brent Brennan, by the way. The job he did with San Jose State, turning them into a respectable football program, is unbelievable.
They went to 3 bowl games.
Not used to be anything.
No, exactly.
Just like what Chris Creighton's been able to do with Eastern Michigan, Brent Brennan did it with San Jose State. That's amazing.
Yep, and I mean they went to a bowl game last year. So depending on how much they lost and how much Ken Niumatalolo brings in, it'll be very interesting to see how much he's able to keep this team going forward in the right direction.
You have made me interested in watching some San Jose State games this year, though. I hate you for that.
Last legitimately bad team in this conference, in my opinion.
Please say New Mexico.
Would be New Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm tossing around UNLV too.
I completely disagree with that. Actually,
are they on the up? Are they on the up again?
Look at what they did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but UNLV always does that for 1 year and then they disappear again.
Yeah, but look where they were 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, they do it for 1 year and then they disappear for 3.
Before we get to UNLV, we'll talk about UNLV in just a second. Does New Mexico go the bottom, the middle, or the top of shit?
I think they're the top of shit.
They're looking at those two teams, they're the top of it.
Okay.
The cream rises to the crop, or in this case, the corn.
First-year head coach, Bronco Mendenhall, is back in college football, by the way, at New Mexico.
I didn't know he was ever in college football, so.
You don't know who Bronco Mendenhall is?
No.
All right.
You're going to timeout.
Yeah.
Let's talk about UNLV.
Can we just say, I think he was actually a pretty solid coach at Virginia, but he just kind of ran his course there. His BYU teams were really solid, and I thought he had something working with UVA, but it's UVA, so their struggles is what it is.
their standards are extremely high for who they are, and moreover, BYU kind of had the effect of they were really good in the 80s and they were just kind of there, and then Brock Mendenhall came in and kind of brought them back to that prominence. I think UVA was hoping for something like that, and when he wasn't able to deliver there for whatever reason, that's how you end up on the job line.
Actually, really crazy. He got Virginia to 5 bowl games in 6 years at Virginia, and they fired him.
How many times did they beat Virginia Tech?
I don't know that off the top of my head, but
And how many times were
anyway.
they even in the playoff conversation?
Well, never.
They never are.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Now UNLV time. This is now Barry Odom's second season, and they still have Ricky White on the roster, potentially the best offensive player in the conference. They lost their quarterback to go be the backup at USC,
Oof.
which is wild to me. Why would anyone want to do that?
Because it's USC.
But they brought in 2 very exciting quarterback options in Holy Cross's Matthew Sluka and Campbell's Haj Malik Williams. Now, Haj Malik Williams is very much more a runner than a passer. Matthew Sluka was probably the best of both worlds. Will either of them work at the FBS level the same of the way that they did at the FCS level? I don't know for sure, but it feels like Matthew Sluka's worth a shot.
Sluka's skill set should transfer fairly easily.
Here's my opinion on UNLV. Whereas Tug is pretty much in the corner of they're too up and down. I think Barry Odom's more of an X factor than we're really going to give him the due credit that he deserves. He didn't have the success at Mizzou, but if you look at the defenses he was putting out at Memphis at a lower division, essentially, of college football, I think he's going to be very effective at UNLV, and I think he's going to be very effective in the Mountain West Conference. How does that relate to how they look on the national level? In their conference schedule, they're going to look, I would say, good, bordering on potentially being in that conference champion contender area. How does that now? If they aren't in that conference champion contender area, how are they looking across the rest of the country? Realistically, probably in that mid area, but as far as the Mountain West goes, I would feel comfortable putting them in good.
So I guess that to me, then the question becomes, how much do we believe in Fresno State? Because that's the real big challenge of the regular season at this point. Who gets to challenge Boise State for the Mountain West title probably comes down to the winner of Fresno State UNLV. Do we, for the sake of the tier list, do we believe in Fresno State to the same level that we're kind of saying we believe in UNLV and just put them both in the conference champion contender tier? Do we put one above the other and just call it a shot now?
We're not saying that they're going to be conference championship teams. We're saying they're conference championship contenders and that they have the potential to be there. So I would say both of them go there.
The only issue I have with that, right, at some point we do got to take schedule and opponents into account. UNLV has the unfortunate draw of playing both of those teams. Now, they don't take the other team that I'm thinking of that's going to have a really good season this year, which is Colorado State's going to take a step forward too. And I was looking at them in the conference champion contender. So they got 2 of the 3. Playing Boise State and Fresno State, one of those is a must win.
See, I love the talent at Colorado State. It does feel like we're jumping around a little bit here, but I want
Well,
to address that point.
we're talking the same tier is the thing, right? We're looking at Fresno State. If you ask me, I'm looking at Fresno State, Colorado State, and you guys have talked me into UNLV in that conference champion contender. Obviously, we already have one in Boise State. I really don't want to put more than 2 teams in that conference champion contender now, based on that.
I don't see why. I don't see why it's an issue.
I could put all 3, and then we got to talk about ranking them against each other.
There's no reason we couldn't, because here's the other thing, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
Boise and Fresno State have the advantage that they don't play each other, so that kind of puts them a little bit ahead of everybody else just mathematically. You've got UNLV, who plays both Boise and Fresno, and I'm assuming Colorado State plays both Boise and Fresno, which puts both of those teams in an interesting spot. But it doesn't mean that somehow we don't have 2 teams run that gauntlet, and then they're the ones left standing at the end of this.
No, Colorado State got lucky. Out of all of those teams, they only play Fresno.
Yeah. So again, by virtue of the way it really shakes out, right, is when you're looking at this across the conference, right? Fresno, by some accounts, has an easy path because they don't have to play Boise. Colorado State doesn't have to play Boise. UNLV has to play both of them. But overall, against the rest of the conference, all 3 of these teams have the ability to make it to the conference championship. And that's where the bloodbath is going to be, is how they do against the rest of the conference. And then when we do have those head-to-head matchups, who's left on the outside looking in. To that point, I would say UNLV maybe bumps down into that good area, just because, let's be real, do we really expect them to win both of those games today?
Both of those games are home games for UNLV. Does that make a difference?
They're back in the conference championship contender.
If you ask me, the easiest path to the conference championship here is Colorado State's. Now, they have a road game against Fresno State, but it's late in the year, which can be both a benefit and a risk. But that is really the only truly.
And they avoid playing at Wyoming. They get Wyoming at home.
They do
big.
They do play at Air Force, but I don't think that's gonna be a challenge this year.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not that far to travel. I mean,
I'm almost willing to put Colorado State at the top ahead of Fresno. I think their schedule worked out. It's the benefit of the schedule.
I don't know what's holding me back from calling Colorado State a contender for the Mountain West title. I feel like there is something.
Well, and let me tell you what it is, because it happens every year. Whereas Air Force has one team, at least one team they always struggle with for no good reason. Colorado State has 2 teams they always struggle with, and the 2 we have left to rank.
Yeah.
Colorado State never plays well against Wyoming and never plays well against Air Force.
I love Colorado State's talent. I do believe in Jay Norvell. He's proven to be a fantastic head coach at now 2 different schools.
But at some point, I need them to piece it all together.
Around.
At some point, they need to piece it all together.
Yeah.
I'm okay with how you have it set now.
All right. So then what do we do with Air Force and Wyoming? They do kind of feel like the teams in the middle for fair enough reason, but also Air Force occasionally crashes that party. Wyoming does occasionally crash that party.
Well, not just occasionally. Both of those teams are known for that. They both win games they shouldn't. They both lose games they shouldn't.
Right.
I really do have them both at mid this year. Air Force has taken a step back from good due to its losses on throughout the entire team. And Wyoming, I have taken a step back because they do have, granted, it's with hire from within, but they did lose their coach as well. So I have them both at mid this year. And you could, if there was a way to stack them on top of each other, I'd be okay with that. But I really do think they're about equal in the way that I view them right now.
So we put Wyoming ahead of Air Force on the graphic just for Tug.
Hold on. Before you do that, let me check. Let me check something real quick.
I'm really surprised you're not just wearing your Wyoming hat again.
Yeah,
I
no,
can go put it on real quick.
No, you're right. Wyoming goes ahead.
Oh, the game's in Cheyenne, huh?
I think so. No, it's in Laramie.
Oh, well.
Or wait a minute. Hold on.
It's all one city up there. Who cares?
Hold on. Do I?
Kind of like Rhode Island's just all one town.
Oh my God.
It's in Laramie.
Oh no. Yep. Yeah, it's in Laramie. I thought we didn't play him for some reason. I was like, I got really excited.
September 28th.
Yep.
It's okay. Air Force will find its way into the Armed Forces Bowl.
We always do.
Can't wait.
Oh, we don't.
Can't
We
wait.
don't
Except
play
for the
Boise.
entire time you were in college. It's fine.
We don't play Boise State this year. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, but you also lose your quarterback, your top 4 rushers, and your top 8 offensive linemen.
For those of you counting at home, yes, that is our first and second stringers.
You lost your entire linebacking core.
That's what I'm saying.
You lost your one good defensive back to the draft of all places.
All right, let's get this moving. We've been taking a long time on the Mountain West. So I think that's partly my fault. Oregon State, I have a good. Wazoo, I have it mid.
I mean, didn't Wazoo finally beat Washington in the last Apple Cup?
Yeah, but
they finally
Cam
fucking
Ward's
put it
gone.
together. Oh shit! Yep, they're mid. They might be bad, honestly.
I'm actually kind of putting both of them at mid. Oregon State kind of lost everything too.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, what's the motivation for anybody to go to these schools right now? And how motivated are these players going to be? Sure, they can still make a bowl game, but that's not why they went to these schools. They went to compete for a national championship, to compete for a Pac-12 championship, and through no fault of their own, they just had that stripped from them. So
when I compare this, just their schedules this year are going to make them look better across the country than they probably should.
Right, because they both get Mountain West schedules now.
Yeah.
Except all of Oregon State's good players now play for Michigan State, so should be interesting.
Oh, Oregon State doesn't even get the home game against Air Force.
Suckers.
Ooh,
all right.
I might want to go to that game. Nope, I can't.
Let's jump conferences. Let's go ahead and let's look at the Fun Belt, the best place to be. And let's try to move a little bit quicker because that did just take half an hour to go through Mountain West. So this is the only conference left in the entire FBS that still does divisions. If you don't know which division is which, you're in luck because no one else does either. So the East is James Madison, App State, Coastal Carolina, Marshall, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Old Dominion. Everybody else is in the West, which would mean Louisiana, Troy, Texas State, South Alabama, Arkansas State, Southern Miss, and Louisiana Monroe. It's actually pretty straightforward. If you know where these teams are, you say, wow, that's kind of on the coastline. It's going to be an East team. And you're like, wow, that's in Louisiana or Texas. That would mean it's a West team.
So really it makes sense.
I love how it's geographically divided like that. They did a good job. Unlike most conferences that I know, that's why divisions no longer exist. Really, a big part of it. So this year, James Madison is fully eligible for everything. They could go to the playoff if they win the Sun Belt and are the highest ranked Group of 5 champion.
Yeah, but didn't they just lose half their players?
Well, yeah, and they lost their coach to Indiana. I'm saying though, if they're eligible for everything, they're full members of the FBS. This is their first year as complete, full, 100% members of the FBS.
That's amazing. Mid.
I'll put them in conference championship contender. I'm just gonna be honest.
Me
here.
too.
I want to so bad because they came out and they lit it up last year. They've lost too much for me to justifiably go.
I
I
hear what
think you are completely, absolutely discounting what they brought in.
yes, and I think you're discounting the culture that's been built there since they were winning all those championships at the FCS level.
I mean, I'm okay with it. I don't know if they're gonna have the same success this year that they had last year when they
I think
should have
that's
won the
fair.
Sun Belt.
I mean, let's be real. They won the Sun Belt. They just don't have the title.
Right.
Give me a banner like UCF did. I'll be okay with it.
Me too. So, yes, they lost Kurt Signetti. They bring in Bob Chesney, who was phenomenal at Holy Cross, is the reason that we know where Holy Cross is on the map. Dylan Morris comes in, who used to be a starter at Washington. Ayo Adier comes in at running back, 1,000-yard rusher from North Texas. They brought in Jacob Dobbs from Holy Cross, FCS All-American. FCS All-American defensive end Eric O'Neill from Long Island, who had 24 TFLs last year. I mean,
anybody block him?
They've legitimately rebuilt the team. They did have to entirely rebuild the team because Kurt Signetti took everybody with him, who even thought they might want to go to Indiana. But
Why?
JMU is going to be good.
At the very least. I'm firm on conference championship contender.
I'm okay.
Me
We're
too.
talking the Sun Belt. We're talking the Fun Belt here. I'm okay with it.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves and just start ranking teams really high, ULM has some really cool helmets now. That said, they're still going to be shit. They are just not fucking good. Another team that I wish was still going to be shit was Southern Alabama. But
they have not been shit for like a decade.
3
dude.
years. 3 years.
College football, that's a decade.
Yes, exactly. They did just lose their head coach to go be defensive coordinator for Alabama.
Okay, they're shit again.
They're mid. They're mid.
Major Applewhite is back as a head coach thanks to Nick Saban's retirement.
They're
South
mid. Fuck
South
Major
Alabama
Applewhite.
as Major Applewhite. That is the definition of a mid.
They're
team.
mid. Yes.
Major Applewhite.
Texas State is another interesting one.
They're going to be a contender.
I want to elevate Texas State at minimum to good.
Yeah,
they're going to compete for the Sun Belt Championship. They have a schedule that favors it. They will be in that conference championship contender level. I have faith in that this year. They took a major step forward last year, and I think they're going to continue that trend this year. I also find it hard to put anybody in the Fun Belt in the good category, comparing it against the rest of the country. So for me, I'm really seeing mid and conference champion contender kind of where I see those tiers.
That's fair.
What's actually really crazy too is Texas State's going to line up with last year's JMU quarterback. McLeod transfers to the Bobcats after Texas State lost their quarterback to Western Kentucky.
What a conference championship that would be, though.
That's what I'm worried about with Texas State is I've yet to see them build their own team. It is the biggest Frankenstein of transfers and has been for the past 5 years.
Welcome to college football in the 2020s.
Their head coach, G.J. Kinney, you know where he came from. Incarnate Word's been building off the transfer portal for 6 years now and 3 different head coaches. So he knows how to do it.
Like I said, I think we're all kind of beating around the same place. They're going to be conference championship contenders.
I agree. Another real solid championship contending team, or at the tier break, probably App State, somewhere on the line. Seems like every season,
as they always are.
I really want to make them mid, but every year they come out and win 1 or 2 games they have absolutely no business winning. That puts them in the conversation for the conference championship.
Joey Aguilar's back at quarterback. And
Put them at the top of mid. I think I'm okay with that. Like, even if we're wrong, I can't bank on them getting weird upset wins every time.
I know. App State's like a 7-5 team every year. One of those weird wins in the non-conference. 2 really dumb losses, maybe 3 really dumb losses in the Sun Belt. That just one of them keeps them out of the championship game.
Well, like you said, they get 4 games a year. 4 games. The one weird upset they don't deserve, and then some combination of 1 win in the Sun Belt that they don't deserve, or 2 losses they don't deserve, or 3 dumb losses. That is the recipe for App State every year.
Can we knock out 3 bad teams real quick?
Yeah.
Sure.
Arkansas State, Southern Miss, and Troy. I'm just tired of looking at all 3 of them at the bottom.
Troy's coming off a Sun Belt win, aren't they?
Yes, they are. So here's the thing. John Summerall is gone. He went to Tulane now. They have a new head coach, Gerard Parker.
Can we tier break them at mid? They're the back of our mid.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I might even still put them above South Alabama.
Yeah, I could see that. You okay with that, Ben?
That's fine. We've talked about a couple teams that can't maintain anything. Troy is certainly one of those teams. Yeah, I would also agree that ODU belongs there.
100%.
Can we talk about all the players that transfer out of ODU and have successful careers and they did fuck all at Old Dominion?
We don't have enough time.
Can we talk about how Old Dominion gets to play either one of UVA or VT every year and basically whoops Virginia's ass every time for no good reason?
Hey, that's why Bronco Mendenhall isn't coaching there anymore.
Can we? Where do you guys have Marshall this year? I'm sitting there looking at Marshall, and they're always a fun team to talk about.
They're a fun team to talk about because they have a movie. But also they beat Notre Dame that one year, and that was fucking awesome. So I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta have more
Charles
than 2 contenders.
Yeah. All right. So here's a question: how much do you believe in Mitch Griffiths?
Who?
Wake Forest transfer, going to be quarterback now for Marshall, probably.
He left Wake Forest. I already believe in him more than I did when he was at Wake Forest.
Jeez. All right.
Good decision making.
Man, I feel like Marshall.
Don't they still have those running backs?
No.
Oh, yeah, that hurts them for me.
All those running backs. But they do have Charles Huff as head coach, who was the running backs coach for Alabama. So they'll probably be fine at running back.
Yeah.
Just not great.
top of mid it is.
Top of mid. Yeah.
They're behind
They're
State.
they're with App State somewhere.
Yeah.
They're right there. And for some reason, it wasn't letting me move them in front of App State, so that's fine with me.
Let's talk about.
I was going to say Georgia State. I think they're the most intriguing and probably the best out of the 4 that remain.
Did you mean Georgia Southern?
No, I meant the Panthers.
Because I don't believe in Georgia State.
They had a good season last year.
Time.
They had a decent season last year. I think they're going to take a step back though. They also ride that wave of good and bad, good and bad, good and bad.
Yeah. I mean, 7-6 is incredible for them.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm okay throwing them in mid. I mean, that's fine. Georgia Southern has to go right alongside of them somewhere, though.
Yeah.
Basically the same team.
Yep. They're both GSU.
Take that, Georgia State and or Georgia Southern fans. You
All
have
right.
the same exact team.
Let's talk about the fun team real quick. Where do you guys have
The Raging
Coastal?
Cajuns.
Coastal.
Fucking dude, Coastal is not fun since they brought in Tim Beck. Grayson McCall's gone. Tim fucking Beck is in. The only fun team about Coastal Carolina now is they have a cornerback named Matthew McDoom.
Dr. Doom?
That is
He's got to get his doctorate so he can be Dr. McDoom. And then he's got to get a job at McDonald's. So he can be Dr. McDoom working at McDonald's. They're getting in the top of mid just for that. And let's not forget that a Chanticleer is the most dominant rooster, also known as the cock of the walk. So they are the top of mid.
All right.
Hold on. Are we working with the Are we working with the Sun Belt here or the Mid Belt?
Well, you wear your belt around your mid section, and when you have a bunch of mid teams playing against each other, the games get to be really, really fun.
Absolutely. It's not delivery. It's Michael DeJormo's third season at Louisiana.
I hate you.
Just for that, they're going in good because they're going to be good for puns. I will say
it's going to be like 6-6 at best.
But where did we see that season coming 3 years ago when they were ranked out of nowhere, dominating the Sun Belt?
So I will say, no, you're right. That was the Billy Napier effect.
Yep.
And it appears that Billy Napier used all of his head coaching juice on that one season.
Just to get hired by Florida.
He's out of head coaching juice. So maybe if DeJormo has some magical head coaching juice, he can dump out his entire bucket on one good season. I don't know if it's worth it in 2024.
I thought you were going to say share it with Billy Napier.
I thought you were going to say blow his load. I thought we're getting real saucy in here. Speaking of DiGiorno, did you know that they have Deadpool DiGiorno pizzas? Deadpool and Wolverine DiGiorno pizzas?
I did not.
Okay. Sure.
One of them's a chimichanga pizza, so I'm probably going to eat that tonight. So, yeah.
I just hope they have it so messed up that it looks like a burn victim.
Oh, that's what the toilet's going to look like after I eat it, I have a feeling. Anyway.
Facts.
So, all right, before we move on, we only have 2 teams in our conference championship contender tier. And, I mean, one of them's from the East and one of them's from the West. I guess that counts.
Do we really think that they're going to run away with it, though? I know where you're going with this.
No.
Let's move the top 2 of mid up into...
Well, both the top 2 of mid are in the East. Actually, the top 3 are in the East. So, I guess let's move up the East 2.
Realistically, I would say that Appalachian State's going to be better and higher. And if I'm being honest, I don't even like bringing Troy up there. Yeah, that's better. I think they're up there partially because it'd be ridiculous not to have the defending champ at least in the conversation.
Well, when a fluke win against Texas State puts them in position.
Yeah.
Right. That's fair.
And we're also recognizing that they are a shell of what they were last year.
Facts. Well, it's okay. You missed it last week, Bug. We literally took out Ohio from the conference championship contender in the MAC because they are the defending MAC champions.
Miami.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miami of Ohio. One of the Ohio teams.
Yeah. One of the Ohio teams. There were like 6 of them in the MAC.
We literally went, you can't win the MAC back-to-back. No.
Nobody wins the MAC back-to-back.
Let's move on. Fun belt discussion. Now it's time for the Southland, where we have a tale of 2 conference championship contenders. Unfortunately, they don't play a conference championship game in almost any conference in the FCS. So one of two teams is probably going to win this conference, and most likely it's going to be either Nichols or Incarnate Word.
I was going to say, I feel like it's two teams and everybody else is at the bottom.
I would say Lamar is going to be okay.
Mid, copy.
And maybe Southeastern Louisiana is going to be okay.
But not Northwestern.
Stephen F. Austin might win a game they're not supposed to, and that's about it.
They're bad.
But they're not supposed to win any games, really. So
yeah. I wanna go out here on a limb and say the Southland could very well send two teams to the playoffs.
No.
But it
could.
It's going to depend on if Nichols does fuck all outside of the conference. Because it's going to be whoever wins the conference. It's going to be Nichols or Incarnate Word. But Nichols in the past few years has struggled heavily in non-conference play.
So, to their benefit, in non-conference play this year, they have a really tough game against Sacramento State. But then they play Mississippi Valley State, so that's a win. They play at Southern, which it feels like it probably could be a win. I'm not counting Louisiana Tech and LSU. Who cares?
Yeah.
To watch them.
Right, let's do let's do what we're saying here, though. UIW goes to playoff team.
Okay. Nichols might be good.
Yeah. Lamar, we can put it mid with Stephen F. Austin.
Well, he said Southern Louisiana. I had Stephen F. Austin at bad, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, let's put Southeastern at mid behind Lamar.
And then Houston Baptist, McNeese, Northwestern Louisiana, and I always forget what this last one.
It's Houston Christian now.
Oh.
As of last year.
Yep.
Okay. The weird UConn knockoff logo goes to crap.
Northwestern State gets to be the bottom of shit.
Which is
what is this lion medallion? I always forget what school this is.
This is a team that is still in transition from Division II up to the FCS level. This is Texas A&M Commerce.
That's it.
That's such a Division II name too. Like they've got to change their school name.
Yeah, they used to be like Texas A&M Pan American or something like that.
Oh, and I got this because I looked this up last year for the same reason.
Honestly, they get to be ahead of Northwestern State.
I almost feel bad putting Northwestern State there because of what happened last year, but at the same time, before they canceled their season, they were pretty fucking bad anyway.
Right. And there was a lot of talk amongst the players that the school used it as an excuse to get out of playing the rest of the year because of how badly they were doing.
Yeah.
The players were like, they didn't actually care about us. They just wanted to stop being the laughing stock of the conference.
All right. So, back in the day, Texas A&M Commerce used to be East Texas Normal College.
Oh, all right.
And then it became East Texas State University until 96.
Yeah, Pan American or whatever was what UTRGV is now. There was like two different colleges down there in Rio Grande Valley area. Anyway, Texas A&M Commerce, their head coach used to play arena ball and was a killer in arena ball. A&M Commerce.
Nice. So what I'm hearing is they're going to be amazing in their short game.
What you're hearing is it's a directional school with extra steps.
Right.
They used to be East Texas State, so they're a directional school in disguise.
TAMU C.
Tamu C, baby.
Tamuk?
And in our tier list, Tamu Shitty. All right.
Nope. There's a Tamuk would be Tamu K, Texas A&M Kingsville Javelinas.
Yeah.
Ooh, the
Javelinas.
Fucking
Yeah, aren't
Jesus Christ.
they're Division 2, aren't they?
Yep, they're still D2. They're apparently amazing when they were NAI as well, but that's neither here nor there.
Beautiful.
All right. Let's
one
get
more
to the
conference.
Big South OVC.
The Big South OVC. Western Illinois finally got out of the hell that they were in trying to field a team in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. They got into the Big South OVC, and they're still going to be shit.
Agreed.
It is what it is. Western Illinois, you have a really cool mascot, the Leathernecks, great imagery, not that great at colors, and just a bad team right now.
Can I make my annual reminder that I forget Tennessee Tech exists until we're doing shows where we talk about Tennessee Tech, and can we just throw them in shit because of that as well?
Yes.
I would recommend putting them in bad.
We'll take your word for it because I forget they're a thing.
Because they will beat teams at the Elk of Western Illinois. And be like 3 wins on the year and maybe upset the rival Tennessee State, who should be
mid
above them in bad.
All right, hold on. Let's get again, there's always a handful of good teams. Let's get those out of the way. UT Martin, SEMO, and maybe Eastern Illinois might be one of their seasons again.
I feel like so Eastern Illinois does return the 2 best things about them from last season, being basically that entire defense is back and MJ Flowers is back. Eastern Illinois also brings in Caleb Lyons from Morehead State, which phenomenal addition to that secondary. I think Eastern Illinois has a real shot at winning this conference. It will only be one playoff team out of this conference, most likely.
But those are the 3 that are in that conversation.
Who did they send last year? I'm looking at the bracket and I can't find any of them.
I think it was SEMO.
That was not SEMO.
It was... Wasn't it UT Martin? UT Martin is... They're defending. They won 3 straight. They're looking for their first FCS playoff win this year, if they were to get back there. They've never won an FCS playoff game.
Jesus Christ. I don't even see them on here.
They weren't. They weren't.
I don't see anybody from this conference on here from last year. Oh, wait.
I don't know exactly what you're looking at, so I'm going to find it.
I'm looking at the bracket.
Gardner Webb.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yep.
It's a different logo. It was throwing me off. I was like, wait a minute. I think that's right. But yeah. Anyway, I would agree.
That's right. They kind of shared it, and it was like a coin toss or some shit, and Gardner Webb got it.
Yep. I would agree that SEMO is in the playoff team discussion because that go down the rabbit hole that is my brain. That's how I started looking at the bracket because I was like, who even went last year? Because it, in my mind, should have been SEMO. I thought they had a fantastic team and they're poised to have another great team this year. I remember that being a fucking huge thing. They had conference officials come in to watch the coin toss allegedly. Yeah, it was, and then we send 6 Missouri Valley teams.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, but they deserved it. That's the worst part.
I mean, yeah, they all won at least one game. So
yeah,
you
know. So I think those 3 are your real contenders. One of them is getting into the playoff. I think that's where we're at with this. Gardner Webb, should take a step back, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me rephrase this. North Dakota is the only Missouri Valley Football Conference team that did not win a playoff game last year. My apologies, I was wrong.
I'd say Gardner Webb is probably. Oh, I'm debating between bad and mid. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
They got hot.
They're also the tier
feels like
break
a tier
there.
break. Yeah.
Yeah, they are the tier break, regardless of which one we put them in.
Right.
They got hot and they got lucky at the right times. That's all it really comes down to. It's weird saying that as the only playoff representation that this conglomeration of schools had last year. But it is what it is. I'm also curious to see what your opinions on Lindenwood are.
I see Lindenwood as having a couple of really talented players and no cohesion yet. They're still in the transition period coming up from Division II. They're not even eligible for the playoffs yet, even if they were to go on some kind of a tear. Jeff Caldwell's great. First team all-conference receiver last year. They bring in a really fascinating that's a different team. My bad. I was really excited about this corner that's coming up from D3, but he's going to Charleston Southern and not Lindenwood. So changed my point there. I feel like Lindenwood has the offense to win a couple of games, but I don't see a complete team right now, and I'd be hesitant to put them any higher than like the ahead of Tennessee Tech here.
That's fair.
I mean, let's use them as our tier break. They go top of shit.
I mean,
no, because I feel like the top of shit is Charleston Southern.
All right, fair enough. Even with that cornerback you were just talking about.
Well, yeah, the dude's coming up from D3.
Right.
Yeah, but Doug loves obscure defensive players.
Doesn't mean they're good.
But he's usually right about them.
He was an all-conference D3 player coming up to play for Charleston Southern.
Not even all-American, just right. All-conference.
And 103 tackles last year as a cornerback. So there's something there.
We don't quite know
not have your core leading the team in tackles if you can help it.
Yeah, at that point I would ask, why is he letting them catch it so much?
That's fair. Good point. We don't like to talk about that. All right. Oh man. What a weird conference. 2 teams in Illinois, 3 teams in Tennessee, 2 teams in the Carolinas.
A team in Missouri. 2 teams in Missouri, yeah.
Just
make it make sense.
Well, yeah, you take 2 conferences that aren't big enough alone, and you make
most
a demon
of them
love
aren't
child
anywhere near the Ohio Valley.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
The only one that is Eastern Illinois. They're literally in the Ohio Valley. That's it.
They are the Ohio Valley.
SEMO is on the fucking Mississippi River.
The Ohio River is an entire state north of all these Tennessee teams. Jeez.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
Ohio Valley Conference. Got fucking Charleston Southern in there. Oh, jeez.
I'm a little disappointed you went and changed my my plan for the Pac-12. I understand why you did it, but I was going for the memes. I didn't want
a tier list, fucking Apple TV.
God damn it.
The last photo of all the mascots together at the last ever Pac-12 championship game.
Oh man.
The Pac-12
Well,
commissioner, and then 2 schools. I wanted to just put in Washington State and Oregon State and just make us talk about the 2 of them and how shitty they both were. But tier maker makes you put in 5 photos to make a list with.
Oh,
So I was getting creative. It was late. I was bored, and Doug crushed my dreams. It's okay though.
sometimes your dreams just deserve to be crushed. It is what it is.
I don't have a joke for us today, but I do have something
waiting.
funny that is it's real life. So like it's almost funnier. MLB trade deadline was earlier today for those of you who aren't baseball fans. And baseball has some weird things about it, right? It is the only professional sport in America where rain alone can cancel a game. Now, sure, you can make the argument that, hey, when the NHL has these outdoor games, if it rains or, weather can postpone it, stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But no, rain alone specifically will ruin a baseball game.
yeah, got to keep the field good.
Yeah, you can't play. Anyway, a rain postponement has caused something very interesting to happen in conjunction with the trade deadline. Now, I'm sure most of you are probably aware, at least of the fact that Danny Jansen has been traded from the Blue Jays to the Red Sox, and he has the chance to play for both teams during a single game. But there's much more to it than that. He was at bat when the game was postponed, meaning that somebody for the Blue Jays is going to have to pinch hit for him and finish his at bat. Meanwhile, the catcher for the Red Sox from that game was DFA'd to make room for Danny Jansen, which means he could be the batter and catcher of the same at bat, along with playing for both teams in the same game. The only way this would be better is if the game had gone on a little bit longer and he had hit a home run, and then he could have hit a home run for both teams in the same game. But this is just, he could be the batter and the catcher for the same at bat. That's amazing.
It's wild.
I want to see that happen now.
I absolutely
make it happen.
See it happen.
All right, me and you need to buy MLB teams and make this happen.
Here's what would be even better.
Oh, easy enough.
Yeah.
He had an 0-2 count when the game suspended. Let's just say that this guy magically gets a single or gets walked, right? The game is going to resume with his position in the batting order, batting 0-2 count. Batter gets on, tries to steal second, and then he throws him out. That'd be the cherry on top. That's what we need.
There it is.
So he gets himself out when he was batting for an at bat that he was catching for.
Here's a real question. And I know everything can change. No 2 count doesn't just mean anything. Why not just throw one more pitch? Like, I understand the field's getting bad here, but like, just get one more pitch out of the way, see what happens.
Well, it was, earlier this year, Cardinals against the Red Sox, or against the White Sox, rather, we were actually at the Battlehawks game just down the street. As soon as the Battlehawks game gets done, we're walking outside, storming its ass off. Game's delayed. They're in the 9th inning. They're like, we're not gonna postpone this. We're just gonna hold off. We'll let the weather clear. We'll bring them back out to finish the game. The Cardinals had a switch hitter up at the plate. He had an 0-1 count. He had an 0-1 count to start the at bat. He had an 0-1 count when the game was suspended.
Did he have an 0-1 count?
Sorry, I had an ad started playing really loud. Thanks, Nitsa. He had an 0-1 count. To remind you guys, he had an 0-1 count. He was batting right-handed. When the game restarts, the White Sox brought in a new pitcher. So with an 0-1 count, he switched to the left side of the plate and then struck out anyway. Beautiful.
All right, I'm going to start.
He had an 0-1 count, guys. But Danny Jansen has an 0-2 count, and whoever pinch hits for him will also have an 0-2 count, not an 0-1 count.
So if he gets himself out, is that now a 2 unassisted? Which, how the fuck does that even happen?
Oh, a drop
Pop
third
out.
strike and he tags him out. That'd
Oh,
be beautiful too. He almost should. Like it's straight down the middle, and he just drops it so he can tag him.
All right, we're losing it. We're losing it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and read links to make you both happy.
And you said you didn't have a joke.
We have our patreon.com/BT football, twitch.tv/big dudes in the trenches, all one word, x.com/BT football, facebook.com/BT football, instagram.com/BT _football, bdtfootball.com, email us at mailbox@bdtfootball.com, youtube.com/@big dudes in the trenches, Discord. Ben, still not sorry, not reading it. It's linked in the description below. It'll be linked anywhere you guys can get this.
Boo.
9G X3PT G36E. So
Yay.
difficult. So hard. That is such a hard
Yay.
time with that.
That's why I don't do it.
Quitter.
And now Tug's at a 0-1 count. All right.
Doug, Bug, you guys got anything else for us on the way out?
No, we'll have 4 more conferences next week, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
Let's get
Maybe.
it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching and or listening. And just remember, you can't win a game if you can't win in the trenches.